So this is Uma Maheshwari. We are going to cover up the topic functions of inventories in the fourth unit. The functions of inventories deals with the inventory, what are the types of inventories in the company, then functions of the inventories, types and techniques used in the inventory management, etc., and the analysis we used to find out the effective inventory management and the factors that include in the inventories. So first of all, what is the inventory? Inventory refers to all the items such as goods, raw materials used in the production or sales by a company of counting or listing items. So the whole items in a company can be categorized under three types and five types. So first one is the raw materials, second one is the VIP goods, third one is the finished goods, next MRO goods, then merchandise, then a transit inventory, anticipation inventory, buffer inventory, decoupling inventory, and cyclic inventory. The first one, raw material, refers to the basic materials to produce a goods. So these are the primary resources a business needs for production. It also refers as a feedstock or unprocessed goods. So next is the work in progress goods. The WIP inventories are partially finished or semi-finished goods. It involves the materials that are still under process, such as the raw materials. It may be a mandatorily to the knob. For example, labor and manufacturing overhead expenses. Next one is the finished goods. Finished goods also refers to as a ready for sale products. These are the goods that a manufacturer sells to the ultimate customers. Next is the MRO goods. MRO is a maintenance, repair and operating. These are the inventories that keep the business running. For example, lubricants and repair tools. The fifth one is the merchandise. These are the finished goods that a seller buys from its suppliers for future resale. Next is the transit inventory. Transit inventories are the inventories that are on the way to another location. In other words, we can say it as not at purchased, but also not it at a selling destination. For example, inventory in transit between the supplier and the manufacturer. Next is an anticipation inventory. A firm is prone to uncertainties of supply and demand as well as unforeseeable events. It is often done in the future anticipation of a sudden rise in a demand for a specific product. Anticipation inventories make sure that you don't run out of stock when a demand rises. Next is a buffer inventory. Some stock protect the firm against uncertainty. Such erratic events often hinder a firm's operation. So, to protect the firm from buffering, firms store excess inventories as a stock. These inventory cushions also refers to as a safety stocks or a buffer inventory. These goods help during urgent surges in demand or to meet the shortage of supplies. Next is the decoupling inventory. Decouple. These are the excess of important parts of the machine while a production continues. There are chances of loopholes created by the machines. So to meet these sudden damages or loopholes, firm use decoupling inventories. It aids the system so that the manufacturing process doesn't slow down in such cases. Next is the cyclic inventory. We all have been studying during our schools that when we order in a bulk, the cost of goods decreases. So therefore, the quantity ordered is directly related to the stock holding cost. Yet it is inversely related to the ordering or step-up cost. So how the inventory management works? So we purchase raw materials from some other place and we put it in the manufacturing unit. So we get a finished goods. Then we put that finished goods to the warehouse. We store it in a safety place. Then it is distributed to the destination or a wholesale retailer through a transportation, and then it finally goes to the consumer or a shop. So this is how the inventory management works. Next one is the tools for inventory management. The basic inventory management maintains what is called a perpetual inventory record. Simply, the system accepts the inventory movement reports or transactions and maintains a continuous record to the quantity on hand. Of course, inventory management software does a lot more than that. So, the tools used for the inventory management are barcode data collection, cycle counting, ABC analysis, integrated planning and execution, lot tracking, traceability. So the first one is the barcode data collections. So here, through a barcode data collection, we highly dependent on a timely and accurate reporting. So what we scan the code behind the product, so we can reduce our time marking the records, and we get an accurate reporting. So the product code will be entered in the system. So we there is no error reporting. So manual reporting can be plagued by delays, errors, missing transactions, and undue burden on the workforce to collect and enter the data. So here the automatic data collection moves often through barcode scans, removes much of the reporting burden while greatly improving accuracy and timeliness of transactions. The second is in cycle counting to improve accuracy. Here the inventory accuracy is very important to the effective planning and control of inventory. The most inventory tracking systems are woefully inaccurate without an active and disciplined cycle counting system in a place. So by counting in a cyclic order, we can get a more accuracy of stocks that is in store, and to order it where the restock product is completed, that we put into the manufacturing. Third is an ABC analysis. So here the ABC analysis is to identify the more important and less important items. So here we categorize most important items in the manufacturing unit as A, and the medium importance we given to categorized under B, and the least important items are categorized under C. So this can be done through a Pareto analysis that is used in the ranking system. So here in the A category, the top 20% of item represents 80% of the annual value. So that is called as an 80/20 rule. So the next is a B items. So here the 30% of account for 50% of the value, and the remaining 50% it comes under the C items, and total 5% of annual value. So here we categorize the items through an ABC classification, so that we can prioritize the items to be restocked in the manufacturing unit. The fourth is an integrated planning and execution. The primary focus of ERP is to improve customer service while optimizing resources including inventory. While the inventory system provides a critical information for the planning and execution systems within an ERP, the functions return the favor by managing the use and replenishment of inventory to minimize the shortages and lowering the overall inventory investments. So here the planning and execution is done through an ERP, so that we can order the materials in a timely manner. Next one is on lot tracking and traceability. In a life cycle information, configuration history and product performance data can be a great value of engineering development and producing servicing, spare part provisioning. Here the inventory tracking is a requirement for financial control and a basic business management process. So while tracking the records of inventories in the stock, we can plan according to that, so that reorder point can be calculated using a traceability. So here the techniques used for the inventory management is an ABC analysis, VED analysis, FSN analysis, EOQ, batch tracking, bulk shipments, consignment, cross-docking, demand forecasting, drop shipping, FIFO and LIFO, just-in inventory, lean manufacturing, materials requirement planning, minimum order quantity, reorder point, and safety stock. The major techniques we used in the inventory managements are ABC analysis, VED analysis, FSN analysis, EOQ, just-in inventory, lean manufacturing, MRP likewise. So the first analysis is an ABC analysis. ABC analysis is an inventory management technique that determines the value of inventory items based on their importance to the business. So here we rank the items through under the categories on the demand, cost, and risk data, and the inventory manager groups items into the classes based on those criteria. ABC analysis is widely used for unfinished goods, manufactured products, spare parts, components, finished items, and assembly items. Under this method, the management divides the items into three categories, A, B, and C, where A is the most important item and C is the least valuable items. As we discussed earlier, it based on the Pareto principle. Here the 80% of items, 80% of the annual income is depend on the top 20% of the items. So it is categorized under A. And the 50% of the annual income is categorized under B, and the remaining percentage of the items are categorized under C. So C is the least important items in the inventories. So this is the Pareto analysis chart. Here the 80% of the annual income is marked in the A class inventory, and the remaining 15% is under the B class inventory, and the remaining items are C class inventories. The next is an VED analysis. The VED analysis is an inventory management technique that classifies inventory based on its functional importance. That is called as a vital, essential, and desirable. So here the vital is nothing but a category which is most important items, so that when it is when these items are not in the manufacturing unit, then the whole manufacturing process get interrupted. So in any such inventory is unavailable, the entire production may stop. Therefore, orders for such inventory should be before on hand. So these items should be restocked before the reorder point. Next one is an essential items, that is next to the vital. The loss due to their unavailability may be a temporary, or it may be a possible to repair the stock item or part. So ensure optimum availability and maintenance. So these items, when it is not available in the manufacturing unit, then the temporarily the manufacturing units will be stopped. Hence when it is restocked, it will continue to production. Next one is undesirable. The desirable category of inventory is the least important among the three. Unavailability may result in the minor stoppages in the production. Moreover, the easy replacement of such shortages is possible in the short duration of time. Next one is an FSN analysis. One such inventory control method in the inventory is FSN analysis. It stands for the fast, slow, and non-moving goods. The FSN analysis aggregates the products based on their consumption rate, quantity, and the rate at which the inventory is used. The consumption rate of a product is nothing but average quantity of an item consumed or expended during a given time interval. The average stay in inventory reflects how long did the specific product take to get sold in a given period. The period of analysis is defined when you are conducting the analysis in a year, 6 months, etc. So the analysis of a year or in the time period is called as a period of analysis. So here the fast moving items, slow moving items, and non-moving items are classified. So it's based on the stock control check and the safety stock. EOQ, the most important topic in the inventory management is the economic order quantity. So economic order quantity is the optimum quantity of an item that should be ordered at a point in time. The main motive of this analysis is to finding out this quantity is to avoid overspending in an item, minimizing the ordering and the holding cost associated with the item. It helps as uncertain the frequency as well as the volume of the order by taking into account factors such as demand, holding cost, ordering cost and the interest, etc. In other words, by finding out the EOQ, the main aim is to minimize the total cost from ordering to holding for every order. So the two components, the cost of the order and the cost of the holding inventory, these two components along with the quantity or a volume ordered are used to find out the EOQ. So EOQ, to find out the EOQ, the basic formula used is the square root of 2 into D into S divided by H, or the whole root of 2DS divided by H. Here the D represents a demand, or how many units of products you need to buy. Then S represents a setup cost. H represents the holding fee or a storage cost per unit of product. This is how we represent the EOQ analysis graph. So in the x-axis we mark reorder quantity. In the y-axis it represents the annual cost. So when the holding cost and the ordering cost meets the total cost, then that point is called as an EOQ. That much of unit you need to order at the reorder point. So the advantages and disadvantages of EOQ is, advantage we come up with reducing the holding cost, ordering cost and better inventory management, and it is a business specific. Disadvantages we come up with complicated math calculations, forecast of accurate demand not possible, immediate availability of products with suppliers, requires a continuous monitoring. Next is an reorder point. A reorder point is a specific level at which your stock needs to be replenished. In other words, it tells you when to place an order so you won't run out of stock. The reorder point is the minimum number of units that a business needs to have in stock to prevent the stockouts and ensure order fulfillment. Once inventory levels reach the reorder point, this integrates the replenishment process to reorder that particular item. The ultimate goal is to a twofold: maintain an amount of inventory at a level that can always meet a customer demand without having more than in realistic possible to move. The reorder point formula is lead time demand plus safety stock. Lead time is nothing but a time taken for your vendor to fulfill your order. That is, when you got a purchase until you deliver the product to the customer, the time taken between the purchase order and the delivery is called as a lead time. Safety stock is nothing but the amount of extra stock, if any, that you have to keep in your inventory to help to avoid the stockouts. Daily average usage is the number of sales made in the average units you sold in a day of a particular item. So calculating the ROP, you can calculate the ROP with using a safety stock or without using a safety stock. So with using a safety stock, then it is daily average usage into a lead time plus safety stock. You are adding the safety stock to a daily average usage into lead time. So without a safety stock, you are eliminating the safety stock by adding it to. So by calculating the daily average sales into lead time, you can get the ROP without a safety stock. So for example, a company retails who sells 200 bottles of perfume every day. Your vendor takes 1 week to deliver each batch of perfumes you order. So you keep enough excess stock for 5 days of sales in case of unexpected delays. Now, what should your reorder point? For first, we have to line up with the lead time. So lead time is a 7 days. So we there is a given 1 week time, so it calculated as a 7 days. So safety stock is nothing but the time we have excess stock, so we can deliver to the customer for the 5 days. So the 5 days stock is called as an excess stock. Into the bottles we sell per day is 200 bottles. So we have a safety stocks of 1000 bottles. So calculating the ROP is equal to daily average usage into lead time plus safety stock. So we sell a daily average bottles is 200 and lead time is 7 plus safety stock. So we got 2400 bottles of reorder point. So this is the graph representing a reorder point with a safety stock. So the lead time, so placing an order and receiving an order, so between the time is called as an lead time. So that is a 7 days. Next is an we have a safety stock of 1000 bottles. So minimum level of safety stock is 1400 bottles and the reorder level is 2400 bottles. So maximum level of bottles we have is 3400 bottles. Next is in safety stock. Safety stock is the amount of inventory a business needs to have to achieve a certain level of risk mitigation when it comes to stockouts. There are typically two types of inventory, core and seasonal. Core inventory is inventory that remains in stock all year around. So throughout the year, you can sell that. There will be a demand for that stock, that is called as a core inventory. Next is a seasonal inventory. It consists of the products you bring it for a specific period of time. So it is based on the seasonal. So safety stock is also called as a buffer inventory stock, safety stock inventory, buffer inventory, just in case inventory. So for calculating the safety stock, we use a basic formula as average maximum method. So maximum lead time into maximum sales minus average lead time into average sales. So this is the basic formula we used to calculate the safety stock. So for example, there is a branded jeggings that can be in the e-commerce site. Even though you sell an array of apparel and accessories, you sell a 125 pairs of jeggings every day on average. Your best days was 300 jeggings units sold. For the time you place an order with your jeggings supplier, it takes a 15 days for the product to arrive in a warehouse on average. There have been times where it has been as quickly as a 5 days. So where it taken as long as a 30 days. So while calculating it, we calculate the maximum time and the average time. So maximum will be a 300 pairs of jeggings. It takes a 30 days. So minusing it from the average pairs. So average is 125 pairs and it takes a 15 days for delivering it. So by calculating in the formula, we got 7125 pairs of jeggings safety stock. Importance to maintain a safety stock is to reduce the impact of price change in the market, preventing the loss of customers. So we are not able to chase the customers. So we can prevent the loss of customers. Manage the sudden spikes in the demand. Protect your business from the supply chain distributions. Next is a lead time. Lead time is inventory management, is the lapse in time between when an order is placed to replenish inventory and when the order is received. The lead time affects the amount of stock a company needs to hold at any point of time. So how to calculate the lead time is to determine the supply delay, determine the reordering delay. So summing up the supply delay and the reordering delay, we get the lead time. So here is the lead time analysis graph. So ordering date and the delivery date, in between that time is called as a lead time. Next is storekeeping. According to Alford and Beatty, storekeeping is that the aspects of material control concerned with the physical storage of goods, perceiving raw materials, work in process and finished goods in the stores. In the process of material control, after any purchased materials are received and checked, the next step is the storage of materials. It's called as in storekeeping. The storekeeper is in charge of storekeeping, refers to the art of perceiving the raw materials. A storehouse is a building provided for preserving materials. So objectives of storekeeping is to prevent overstocking and understocking of materials, minimizes the shortage cost, ensure optimal utilization of available storage space, to protect the materials from the loss and the wastage due to a defective storage, protect and safeguard the materials from the pilferage, theft, fire and others. We have the different types of storekeeping is centralized and decentralized. Centralized is nothing but we have a common store in a particular place. From that we distribute the items or finished goods to the delivery point. In the decentralization, we have a stores and the warehouse in the scattered manner. So functions of storekeeping is issuing a purchase requisition when a material is required, receiving a purchased stores from the receiving department and verifying that every lot of stores is supported by a intent, a purchase order and a inspection note. Preparing a goods received note in accordance with the different stores lots received. Ensuring that all the goods received notes are regularly posted to a bin card. Minimizing the shortage, handling and maintaining costs by preserving and handling materials in the most economical and efficient manner. So preventing the entry of unauthorized persons in the store, safeguarding materials from theft, pilferage, fire and others. Ensuring adherence to issuing procedures and organizational systems and guidelines. Who is a storekeeper? Storekeeper is a person who is responsible for the goods in a store. Duties and responsibilities are of storekeeper is to maintain a ledger of incoming goods and the outgoing goods. So the flow of materials in the warehouse, access to other items, economic usage of the shortage space. So the storekeeping system is designed to safeguard the stock position, reliable store records, etc. For efficient storekeeping, a separate store department under direction of storekeeper is set up. So duties of a storekeeper is to hold all the materials in a safe and convenient manner, to issue a material against a proper authorization, to watch levels of stock and replenish materials when necessary, advise the management on the day-to-day affairs to the stores department to dispose of scrap or obsolete materials. So the location of a store refers to a site for a particular store. The location of store should be carefully planned so that we can minimize the transportation cost in an optimal effective manner. The general principle used to determine the location of a store's department is to minimize the total cost. That is called as the transporting materials. Determine of the location of stores is minimizing the material handling efforts, nature of a materials, quantity, weight, etc. of a material, flow of a materials, free from risk of loss and flexibility. Store ledger is nothing but a manual or a computer record of a materials and a production supply stores in the production facility. It is maintained by a person responsible for these assets such as a warehouse manner. Store ledger refers to a document or a statement that keeps the record of the value and a quantity of a different stock items issued, received and their closing balance. The information that is to be recorded in the two formats, units quantities only and costed quantities. The purpose of store ledgers is to maintain a store ledger helps to get an idea of quantity and the value of business stock items. Stores ledgers help the accounting and auditing staff to compute and conclude a value of available stock materials. So how to maintain a store ledger? What are all the records to be maintained in the store ledger? Is the cost and the value of a stock items, inventory items received, inventory items issued, minimum stock items and the maximum stock items. These are all the advantages and disadvantages of storekeeping. Advantages refers to help in knowing the quantity as well as the value of available stock materials. Inventory, internal control in the management of inventory items can be established using stores. Disadvantages is the large number of columns found in the store ledgers make the computing process complicated. The records found in the store ledger are not detailed. They are mere summarizations of the actual transactions. Bin card. Bin card is a statement or a report of issue and receipt of the stocks from the retail business store department. Bin cards are primarily used by those retailing business identification number. So the management of an inventory is a not straightforward job. However, keeping a regular record of a day-to-day transaction of stock items is necessary. So the bin card serves as very convenient tools in keeping these records. The retail companies can make decisions on a capital allocation more efficiently by using the bin card. So how the bin card works? A bin card can be generated and maintained in the Excel sheet. One can print out a bin card for offline management and also consists of a location of materials, receipt or the dispatch. Advantages is recording of inventory transaction is less prone to errors. So as the documentation is done, the very instant a material is received or sent. With bin cards, store and charts can give the accounts of inventories instantly. Bin cards make a stock items more traceable as all details related to the material's location and a quantity is mentioned. Disadvantages are updating of bin cards requires the store in charge to have a lot of patience and a very careful manner. Stock levels cannot be inferred directly from the bin cards. Instead, the reports prepared from them are used to verify the stock levels. So these are the differences between the bin card and the store ledger. So in accounting, a bin card has to keep inside the store. The store ledgers has to keep outside the store. The bin card only keeps a record of quantity of the material such as receipts, issues and the balance of the materials. The store ledger keeps a record of the movements of inventory in a rate, quantity and a value and a balance of the materials after every movement happens. So bin card storekeeper makes a entry immediately so that he knows if there is any shortage of goods. In the case of store ledger, the entries are made periodically so that times taken to know about the exact amount of possible goods in